celebrities who gave up their fame to work a normal job. That's a bit of a taboo in this YouTube sphere when YouTubers or people who become very big on the internet end up having to give up that opportunity to go and work a regular job. Personally, I have a lot of respect for those who work regular jobs, who do, blue collar work, who work out in the fields, hands-on work. A lot of respect for those individuals. For those who are able to get their success online and whatnot, shout out to you as well, because obviously you found an alternative route in making money. But for me, there's no shame in working with your hands or working with a company and working a regular job. Now let's go to SunnyV2's edition of celebrities who gave up their fame to work a regular job. Let's get right into the reaction.
From Charlie Bucket in Willy Wonka to the Shermanator from American Pie.
The Shermanator.
These are celebrities who work normal jobs now, beginning with Hayden Christensen, who gave up his fame as a Hollywood actor to return to the world of manual labor. After appearing in the third Star Wars movie back in 2005, Christensen explained that he...
I was trying to remember where I had heard that name from, Hayden Christensen. Was he Anakin Skywalker? No way.
He hadn't really earned his fame, stating, "I guess I felt like I had this great thing in Star Wars that provided all these opportunities and gave me a career, but it all kind of felt a little too handed to me," also adding that he liked the idea of deliberately sabotaging his fame just so he could start from scratch.
What are you talking? He liked the idea of deliberately sabotaging his fame just so he could start from scratch? What are you talking about?
You can't take years off and not have it affect your career, he admitted. But I don't know, in a weird sort of destructive way, there was something appealing about that to me.
This man was a menace before he even Anakin influenced his brain. He deadass converted to the dark side. Listen, again, no shame on those who work a normal job and do regular work, but like for you to be in the position he's in to continue acting and stuff and just be like, nah, I want to see if I can build myself back up from nothing. That is
For this reason,
crazy.
Christensen decided to purchase a farm just outside of Toronto, Canada, so he could get into the world of agriculture, stating, "I'm trying to figure it out, it's all new to me, but I would eventually like it to be a fully operational farm with livestock and different crops. I've got a tractor and an excavator, and I'm learning to use all the construction equipment. Right now there's an apple orchard that I want to extend, and I've started a small vegetable garden, and I want to turn a hayfield into lavender, which..."
Dog, there's just something that is absolutely awesome about that. You can't tell me that that's not awesome, bro. Like, my man literally was like, acting is great, and I get these millions and millions of dollars for doing these roles, but I feel like I just want to go on a farm and use like a freaking shovel to dig my way to success by selling freaking pigs. But that is crazy. My man is crazy.
Also led to his own line of country clothing through a company called RW&Co. Christensen has since been spotted at numerous farmers markets and maintains that the farm is going well.
How's things going, man? How's the farm? Good. Farm's good.
However, while Hayden Christensen is still kind of working for himself, Stephen Anthony Lawrence has since found a different type of...
Yeah, I was gonna say, he's still like, I mean, it's not the same, I guess, as an actor, but he's still really independent. He's got a clothing line, you know what I'm saying? He's literally owns his own stuff and whatnot. He's not like working a regular job, working for like a company or something.
Since he played Beans in Even Stevens. After the show came to an end in 2003, Lawrence struggled to land any further teen roles, as he went bald only 1 year later at the age of 14, stating in a Vice interview, "I mean, it sucks, but you come to terms with it."
You telling me male pattern baldness is what took this dude's career from him?
During the same interview, Lawrence explained that both of his parents were then diagnosed with cancer, making it even more difficult for him to return to acting, having stated, "You're being a caregiver, you've got to be there to change diapers, and you can't do that when you're on auditions. That's physically impossible, it just wouldn't work."
Oh my god. Are you kidding me, dude? That's crazy.
After both of his parents tragically passed away, Lawrence returned to the workforce as a part-time actor alongside another interesting job, Santa's little helper at the Sun Valley Shopping Center. Fans have been flocking to the mall to get their own selfie with Beans, and he seems to be having a good time with it. If Instagram captions are to be believed, he's making dreams come true, which is certainly more than that mall Santa can say. Beans explained in the Vice interview that he took the role to honor his father, stating, "Dad was really into Christmas. He was a big Clark Griswold guy, so this was kind of my way to feel close to him during the holidays and do something cool for."
Now, when you think about having like a big, massive heart and really having a purpose, like, I know that might not seem like it because it's like you're doing such a small job and you're probably not getting paid the best either, but like that type of stuff is what really brings honor to you, is like honoring your father and letting his memory live through your actions. Like that's
people.
Horrific.
However, it was Danny Lloyd from The Shining who decided that the world of media just wasn't for him.
The Shining, that's the Here's Charlie, right? Whatever his name is.
Apart from 2 other minor appearances, The Shining became Danny's only major role on the big screen, and considering he was only 6 years old at the time, he'd returned to school like any other person. I'm glad I was in The Shining. It just wasn't something that panned out, and I decided to go back to being a regular kid in school. I worked at the local Walmart. I also worked on a hog farm driving a tractor and working with the hogs. A Hollywood life probably wouldn't have been for me anyway. In a different interview, Danny explained that he used these farm jobs to pay his way through university, which ultimately led to the full-time job he works now, biology teaching at a high school. Lloyd
I mean, that's pretty honorable. Like, he paid off his own, debt through hard work, and now he's doing something that's teaching the youth. That's pretty respectable.
learned fast that being the kid from The Shining was not a fact he needed to share with pupils looking for chinks in his authority. It was disruptive in class, so that's when I began to really play it down. Were the kids waggling their fingers hissing red rum? He laughs good-naturedly, yes, very occasionally, but enough for me to know I had to downplay it. As a teacher, you're supposed to be in control, which has got to be an outlook shared by Carrie Henn, who also ditched Hollywood to work in education. After playing the character Newt in the 1986 classic Aliens, Henn decided not to pursue full-time acting and instead continued with her schooling. For this reason, she fell out of the public spotlight for over 30 years, returning in a 2016 Comic-Con interview with Kevin James to state that she'd rather found traditional employment.
I always wanted to be a teacher, so I went to school to be a teacher.
Tell them what you do.
I teach 4th grade.
Yet it was Vanilla Ice who
Nice, you got 2 of them who were in. I mean, The Shining is a massive movie. Like, everybody remembers The Shining, and she's teaching 4th grade. That's pretty respectable. I like that.
career change was significant.
Vanilla Ice, though?
Surprising.
I did not
He found
know
massive
this.
success in 1990 with the now infamous song Ice Ice Baby.
Bro, this is Eminem before Eminem. Nah, let me stop.
Yet his music career had almost no longevity, with many considering Vanilla Ice to be a one-hit wonder.
Oh, absolutely.
With his music career in the dumps,
If you don't think Vanilla Ice is a one-hit wonder, please name me 3 other Vanilla Ice songs. I'll be waiting for
Vanilla
years.
Ice tried his hand at motocross racing and even professional jet skiing, which worked reasonably well given he peaked as the world's number 6 ranked sit-down jet ski racer, competing nearly every weekend and earning a Kawasaki sponsorship.
Look at what my guy was number 6 in the world. That's phenomenal.
At the same time, Vanilla Ice began to go down a dark path of drug addiction, leading to his disappearance from the spotlight. However, in 2010, the name would reappear in a show about houses called the Vanilla Ice Project. He'd become a renovator. The show ran for over 9 years, displaying countless different construction projects, yet this wasn't the only normal job that Vanilla Ice wound up doing. In 2013, an article was published
like housing renovation and stuff is actually, I think it's pretty cool. Like, to be able to take like a beaten up, broken down house and to turn it into a whole new house, get it to be sold, and then you get a percentage of that. That's pretty cool in my opinion.
to the website Joe reading, he's transformed himself from rapper to lighting salesman. We guess when the lights go out on a rapping career, you have to find a way to turn them on again. But by selling lights and lighting designs,
Alright, this is such a bad faith article. Like, come on. I mean, I get it. Like, when you're in the public eye and people are, heralding you for being great because of your music and whatnot, this isn't what you expect to get out of people afterwards. But to shit on him by saying, by selling lights and lighting designs, really, like, there's some dishonor in that. Like,
really? Mr. Ice
off.
currently works for Capital Lighting in Florida and has designed what he calls Vanilla Ice Lighting, a line of chandeliers and wall sconces. Check out this advert for lighting starring Ice himself. And yes, he actually says lights, lights, baby. However, it was Peter Ostrom from Willy Wonka who decided.
Alright, but like knowing that you gave up that pass and then still going lights, lights, baby is kind of cringe, bro.
That instead of living in a chocolate factory, he'd rather look after animals. Shortly after appearing in the film, the Ostrom family purchased a horse, sparking what would become a lifelong interest in farm animals. After finishing high school, Ostrom worked in an equestrian center in Pennsylvania, which was followed by his college graduation with a veterinary degree, having been inspired by the vet who looked after the family horse. I can remember the veterinarian coming out and taking care of the horses, and it made a huge impression on me. This person really enjoyed what he did for a living. My father was a lawyer and I really didn't have a clue what he did all day, but I knew exactly what the veterinarian did. Someone making a living from something he enjoyed so much really sparked.
Dude, your dad was a lawyer and you're like, nah, that guy taking care of the animals, that's what I want to do. I mean, you see, it really does go to show that sometimes people just really have a passion for something. And these are great examples because especially when you have connections to the Hollywood life where like you're making generational wealth, and you're giving that up for, like, you know what I'm saying? It's honorable in a way. You gotta respect it to an extent. You can't shit on these people just because they chose something else.
Ostrom was so entrenched in the idea of becoming a vet that he never returned to Hollywood. His one and only acting role, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, having stated, "Acting was fine, but I wanted something more steady, and the key is to find something that you love doing, and that's what my profession has given me." Although he's not the only celebrity on this list to dedicate his life to the medical field, as Jennifer Stone from The Wizards of Waverly Place followed a similar path.
Jennifer Stone gave up on acting. Dude, everyone has to. If you were a '90s baby, you have to remember Jennifer Stone, bro. Wizards of Waverly Place was such a huge part of my childhood.
Only 1 year
crap.
after the show came to an end in 2012, Stone was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, with her experience in the hospital inspiring her to join the medical field.
I wanted to make sure that nobody ever had to experience that when they were going through uncertainty. I know it's a drop in the bucket, but it was something I could do.
While maintaining minor acting roles on the side, Stone began to volunteer at a Burbank medical center, and by 2019 she'd become a fully qualified nurse, stating, "I just see so much more of humanity than I ever saw before nursing. I've seen parts of humanity that I don't know if I would have ever seen without it. It's a beautiful thing and it's heartbreaking, and it's a great reminder to be thankful for the things that you do have." Since becoming a registered nurse, it seems Jennifer Stone has pretty much retired from acting. However, this hasn't stopped her from being recognized by some of her patients.
That's gotta be awesome though. Like, she was still kind of doing it part-time on the side, but then she just fell in love with the actual, like, humane part of being a nurse so much that she was just like, I'm just gonna do this. And, like, you know, it's nowhere near as much money as you can get from acting gigs and whatnot, but at the same time, that's not your passion, like, you won't be able to do it as well. And eventually, as it is with acting, if you're not able to pour your life into it, you really won't be getting the gigs that are paying you enough to keep the lights on and the water going. So that's admirable, and especially in the field that she chose.
Patients that are like, "Why are you here? Like, what are you doing, nurse?"
But whatever happened to the Shermanator from American Pie? Well, according to IMDb, real name Chris Owen continued to land role after role following the iconic performance, yet on the 28th of September 2012, a post was made to Reddit reading, "At a sushi restaurant in Santa Monica, the Shermanator was my waiter." Approximately 1 year later, additional photos were sent to the Radar website, with the sender stating it was kind of funny watching the Shermanator serve at a sushi restaurant. It was also sort of sad to see how quickly and easily an actor can fall from fame. No one in the restaurant even seemed to recognize him. When interviewed by the Daily News 3 years later,
I don't get why people gotta, like, just the wording. I guess it's just how people talk, but, like, for you to literally be like, "Oh, I can't believe nobody was recognizing him." Not everybody's life is in movies and whatnot. I get American Pie was like a really big movie and whatnot, but, like, come on, dog. Like, not everybody saw
Owen
it.
stated, "Life doesn't always go the way you planned. I love acting and this job lets me stay in the fight. I get recognized a lot," he says. "I walk up to the table and see the look in their eyes. People get excited and it feels good. I like connecting with people for that brief moment in time."
Damn.
Although in December 2018, it seemed Chris Owen recognized that he'd need a long-term career path, as he'd make a post to his Instagram stating that he joined a property company called Compass, with his following post showing that he'd become a real estate agent. But while Chris Owen took these positions out of necessity, it was Susan Boyle who got it.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like the most heartbreaking part out of it, is when it's out of necessity and, like, you still want to do what, because, like, a lot of these, I mean, the title of the video is "Who Gave Up Fame," but it doesn't really sound like he gave up fame. It sounds like he still wanted to do acting, he just couldn't. Like, he couldn't keep up with the time.
A day job just so she could return
I remember
to
Susan
being a
Boyle.
normal person. Despite having a net worth of over $40 million, Susan has often been commended for living an extremely humble life, having raised over £42 million for charity whilst continuing to live in her.
Are you telling me that this woman with a $40 million net worth has raised more than her entire net worth for charity? Yo.
Childhood home. However, Susan Boyle's desire for normality was best highlighted in an article from June 2014 titled "Millionaire Susan Boyle Applies for a £6 an Hour Cashier Job in Her Local Bookmakers," with the article reading, "The 52-year-old singer is reported to have applied for a minimum wage £6 an hour cashier's job."
$6 an hour is crazy for someone who's valued at $40 million.
After spotting a job advert in the window of her local bookmaker's Ladbrokes. Upon reading the advert on Thursday afternoon, Susan entered the premises and spent around 5 minutes talking to the shop's deputy manager David Kaur, 28, about the role. Susan Boyle walked into the shop and inquired about the job advertised in our window. We were all in shock. Obviously she doesn't need the money, so I think she saw it as a way of getting her out of her house and taking her mind off things, with the article also implying that it'd be a good way for her to reintegrate with the local.
That's true though. Like, you know, when you're valued that much, you make that much money, sometimes you just don't want to be in the house all day. That's pretty cool, dude. Susan Boyle has always just been an anomaly. From the way that she looked to her beautiful, amazing voice, now to learning this, crazy.
Community.
She's crazy.
Interestingly,
bro.
it seems Boyle didn't end up getting the job. However, Kevin Jonas was a little more lucky.
She applied and they didn't give her the job? Alright, that's kind of stupid. Like, you know how much attention that would have brought to your business, regardless of what it was in? Like, that's Susan Boyle at the end of the day. You could have gotten so much business from that.
When the Jonas Brothers took a hiatus back in 2000.
Kevin Jonas? Kevin, like the Jonas No.
Kevin Jonas was a little more lucky. When the Jonas Brothers took a hiatus back in 2013, two of the brothers pursued their own solo projects, yet the third brother, Kevin, decided to leave music altogether and walk a slightly different path.
I think I'm thinking of the wrong people, because I was thinking of Harry Styles, but that's One Direction, right? The Jonas Brothers, I didn't even know that they sang independently.
He dived into the world of construction, creating a property development business called Jonas Werner, and would also become the co-CEO of a social media business called the Blue Market Company. But while you could still consider this far from a normal job, it's time to talk about Nikki Blonsky, who's perhaps one of the greatest examples of giving up fame to go back to a regular life. Blonsky's first ever acting role was in Hairspray the movie, so it was kind.
Well, I guess then, yeah, you could kind of say that Susan Boyle didn't really give up fame. She was just kind of done with fame. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like she gave up in the middle of her prime or like was completely out of it or whatever. She sort of was just like on the essence of like, you know, I've got all the money, I just kind of want to get out and get around, and that's why she started.
Kind of funny that only 4 years later, she'd get her cosmetology license before landing a job as a hairstylist in her hometown.
Yikes.
Superstar is happy to announce our newest employee, our cosmetologist Nikki Blonsky from Hairspray, which was followed by a tweet to Nikki Blonsky's Twitter confirming her new part-time position. It's true I'm working at Superstar Salon as a makeup artist, and I'm proud to be working and helping pay bills, but I'll never lose sight of my dream.
Yeah, see, I think that's the part that really catches me, is when they're like, you know, they're still hanging on to their dreams, because at the end of the day, like, you know, you got to work, you got to keep the lights on, but now by working and by your so much of your day being taken up by working just to keep up with the bills and stuff, it makes it even harder to pursue those dreams. It really
just because I'm
sucks.
part-time working doesn't mean I'm going to give up on my dreams, and don't give up on yours. I might book something big soon, keep positive, and apparently she made the right decision by doing this, given the customer feedback. I was so surprised today when I showed up at Superstar to get my makeup done, and it turned out to be Nikki Blonsky applying it. She did a great job, and I really look like a superstar. From Charlie Bucket in...
I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing, man. Some of these superstars, they did it because they had completed life, essentially. They were done with life. They made it, and they just wanted ways to get out, like Susan Boyle. Some of them, however, had to keep the bills paid, man. You got to keep the lights on, got to keep the water running, and it doesn't mean that you can just, like recklessly chase your dreams. Sometimes you got people in your life you got to take care of, like we saw with some of the people in this video. So I think the moral of the story is, no matter how big or how famous that you get, don't forget that you can always have a fall from grace, and that regular workers are not much different than your famous celebrities. At the end of the day, everybody's mission is to be able to provide and take care of their families, and although not everybody would like to work, some people prefer it. Some people would like to just get down and dirty, do some physical labor, whether it's in construction or in a hair salon or at your local bookkeeper, whatever it may be. Everybody is essentially the same, and we all have a mission, which is just to live, to exist, and to take care of ourselves and to take care of our families, our dreams. And some of these guys were even still pursuing their dreams. So if you got a dream and you're a dreamer, be sure to hit that like button. Comment down below if you have any recommendations of SunnyV2 or music videos that you'd like us to react to. And of course, we're on our mission to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the summer. So hit that subscribe button to join Dreamers Entertainment. Until next time, and until the next video, dreamers.